Good morning. It's Wednesday, July 2nd. Let's look outside this morning in America, courtesy of EarthCam. We're saying hello to Lauderdale by the Sea, Florida, Mystic, Connecticut, Winthrop Harbor, Illinois, and San Francisco, California. Hey, West Coast, we see you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Nick Smith in for Marky Martin from our NewsNation headquarters in America's Heartland. It's time for news for all Americans. And right now, you're looking live at Capitol Hill, where President Donald Trump's one big, beautiful bill just passed a key test overnight in the House. But another group of Republicans is ready to stop it in its tracks. Where those votes stand and how the differences between the House and Senate bills will impact your taxes, health care, and more. This morning, we're also on verdict watch in Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial. What charge the jurors are still debating and what a note to the judge could signal about the jury's decision. And in Idaho today, Bryan Kohberger, the suspect in the stabbing death of 4 college students, is set to take a plea deal to avoid the death penalty. What else is included in that deal? And we have an exclusive interview with Kohberger's former college professor, a renowned forensic psychologist who studies serial killers. She reveals what she may have missed in class and if he'll become a future case study.
I think anybody in my field will tell you they can be duped by a really skillful, predatory type of person. But I think because I have so much material from him, I have questions for him that I think nobody else but me could ask. That will indeed be interesting. But first, get this over the finish line. That's President Trump's message to House Republicans this morning after his one big beautiful bill narrowly passed in the Senate. And right now you're looking live at Capitol Hill, the bill just passing a key test in the House, where Republicans hope to speed through the voting process before the party's self-imposed 4th of July deadline. NewsNation's Tom Dempsey is at the White House this morning. Tom, good morning. How soon could we see the House vote on this big, beautiful bill?
Hey, good morning from the White House, Nick. Look, House Speaker Mike Johnson has already promised to move very quickly on all this, and later today we could see a final vote on the House floor on that one big, beautiful bill, as President Donald Trump loves to call it. But here's the thing. Once again, with only a few votes to spare, some House Republicans are already coming out saying they plan to vote against the measure.
I think the founders and the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence would be astounded that we're adding debt to our children and grandchildren who are defenseless. What the Senate did is unconscionable.
Overnight in the House, the measure passed its first test, clearing a committee in a tight vote. But some House Republicans remain concerned about the Senate version of this bill, which the Congressional Budget Office says adds more to the deficit compared to the original House plan and leaves more people without health insurance over the next 10 years. But despite those concerns, House Speaker Mike Johnson believes the bill will cross the finish line.
As the president said, it's his bill. It's not a House bill. It's not a Senate bill. It's the American people's bill. And my objective and my responsibility is to get that bill over the line. So we will do everything possible to do that.
And once again, with this vote, there's going to be a few lawmakers to keep a close eye on. Representatives Tom Massey and Ralph Norman already say they plan to vote against this bill. Republicans can only afford to lose, though, a few votes for this measure to pass. President Trump still voicing optimism, though, that he will sign this bill by Friday. On Truth Social, he urged House Republicans to unite behind the bill, calling on them to, quote, do the right thing. And we will note, too, on the other side of the aisle, House Democrats have already come out saying that they plan to use all available legislative tools and options, which could mean many more hours of debate on the House floor. Nick?
Tom, thank you so much. The spending package the Senate sent back to the House is a lot different than the original version. The biggest points of debate today will be changes to tax policies and public aid. Though both bills contain a sizable number of new tax cuts and provisions, the primary differences between the legislation is where those cuts are made. For example, the House is proposing no tax on tips through 2028 and a new deduction for overtime pay. The House is allowing it for individuals making less than $160,000 a year with no cap, while the Senate income cutoff is $150,000 per year with a $12,500 cap. The Senate also increases a new tax break for senior citizens of $6,000. That number for the House is $4,000. GOP lawmakers in both chambers also want to extend and expand on tax cuts that the president signed in 2017, but disagree on several points of how to do that. One major difference is the standard deduction, which is currently $15,000 per individual. The House wants to raise that to $1,000 through 2028 per individual, while the Senate is proposing a one-year permanent increase of $750 for 2025. Then there's the current maximum child tax credit, which is $2,000. The House wants to see a temporary $500 increase. The Senate wants a permanent $200 increase starting in 2026. And one of the biggest disagreements between Republicans is about the state and local tax deduction. Currently, the SALT deduction allows $10,000 to be written off in federal taxes, but the House is now proposing to raise that to $40,000 through 2033, with those making $500,000 or more facing a decreasing amount each year. The Senate is offering to play ball by suggesting the same amount, but will reinstate the $10,000 amount in 2030. One more key discrepancy between both versions of the bill comes in the form of public aid. For example, Medicaid work requirements under the House would limit the benefits to adults without children to document 80 hours of work per month. The House proposal expands that to include adults with children 15 and older. Meanwhile, in order to qualify for food stamps, the House requires proof of work from adults, including those with children 6 years or older, and the Senate suggests requirement for adults with kids 14 and older. And that Senate bill also includes provisions that help secure Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski's vote, including one that will not pass on a higher cost of federal benefits to states like Alaska over error rates in the food stamp program. The White House has said the president's bill would reform Medicaid and remove 1.4 million illegal immigrants from the program. But is that really the case? NewsNation's weekend anchor Anna Koyman is crunching the numbers for us and breaking it all down. Anna, good morning. What is the truth?
Hey there, Nick. Good morning to you. Good morning to everyone at home. So the White House posted a Mythbusters fact sheet defending the House version of the big, beautiful bill, as it's called. And they say 1.4 million illegal immigrants will be dropped from Medicaid, which would give states more federal funds and give Americans more access to health care. Although there are instances of illegal immigrants getting government aid, according to the Congressional Budget Office and research organizations like KFF and Georgetown University's McCourt School of Public Policy, Medicaid coverage is not currently available to illegal immigrants. KFF says emergency care for undocumented immigrants accounted for less than 1% of Medicaid spending from 2017 to 2023. So this 1.4 million that the White House appears to be highlighting seems to refer to illegal immigrants or those with questionable immigration status who will lose coverage due to reductions in state healthcare programs currently giving them assistance. Now, these programs are funded by the states, not through federal Medicaid dollars. President Donald Trump and most congressional Republicans argue no one who should be on Medicaid will lose benefits. Still, some health advocates warn that the One Big Beautiful bill would dramatically reduce the program currently used by more than 70 million low-income Americans. Nick?
And so many people depend on it. We will be watching. Anna, thank you so much. And of course, you can catch Anna Koyman live every weekend, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on News Nation. President Trump floats a program to allow migrant farmers to stay in the country, but not everyone is on board. What this program would look like, we break it down with Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins. And you're looking live at Charlottesville Airport in Virginia. Millions of Americans packing their bags for a holiday travel weekend. What you'll want to know, especially if you're planning to fly for the 4th of July.
Bill O'Reilly, Stephen A. Smith, James Carville, CUOMO tonight at 8/7 Central.
I'm obsessed with this Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash, and it's 10 times more vitamin B3 complex. Just one shower transforms my skin from dry to intensely moisturized. For me, it's only Olay Moisturizing Body Wash.
Dulcolax.
Good morning. Hey. Good morning.
New Dulcolax Liquid Gel with Liquid Core reactivates your natural gut rhythm overnight for relief that feels amazing. New Dulcolax Liquid Gel.
Moving this summer? Pods is the most awarded container moving company. Pods brings the container to you. Then we'll take it to your new home or store it at a secure pod storage center. And you don't have to do the driving. Trust Pods with your next move. Book at pods.com.
Homes.com. It's the best.
You cannot legally say Homes.com is the best.
Well, how can we not say it if that's our new name? Homes.com is the best.com.
I wish my TV provider let me choose what I pay for.
Sling lets you do that.
I like the sound of that. I wish my TV provider let me pause my subscription when I want.
Sling lets you do that.
And I wish my TV provider let me have hundreds of free channels.
Sling lets you do that too, fellow siren.
Choose and customize your channel lineup or pause and watch for free. Sling lets you do that.
Honey?
Wait, what?
With COVID-19 and my heart disease, I'm not going to wait. If it's COVID, Paxlovid.
Paxlovid is an oral treatment for adults with mild to moderate COVID-19 and a high risk factor for it becoming severe. It does not prevent COVID-19.
My symptoms are mild now. I'm not risking it.
Paxlovid must be taken within the first 5 days of symptoms and helps stop the virus from multiplying in your body. Taking Paxlovid with certain medicines can lead to serious or life-threatening side effects or affect how it or other medicines work, including hormonal birth control. Tell your doctor about all medicines, vitamins, and herbal supplements you take, as certain tests or dosage changes of your other medicines may be needed. Tell them if you have kidney or liver problems, HIV-1, are or plan to be pregnant, or breastfeed. Don't take Paxlovid if allergic to its ingredients. Stop taking and call your doctor right away if you have allergic reaction symptoms. Serious side effects can include allergic reactions, some severe like anaphylaxis, and liver problems. These are not all the possible side effects, so talk to your doctor.
If it's COVID, Paxlovid.
Ask your doctor today.
The concept is fun. It's bikes and coffee. It's going to work. It's going to be great. And then reality hits. And it's all sorts of things you don't really think about when you're starting a business. So having a platform like Gusto to help me run HR and payroll on a single platform was huge. It's intuitive, user-friendly, scalable. Onboarding is like click of a button. I don't have to worry about what taxes are being taken out of the account. I know that payroll's taken care of and they have my back. Bikes and coffee, it just makes sense. Gusto and payroll, kind of the same thing.
The 4th of July. It's more than just hot dogs and fireworks. It's about freedom, family, and flying the flag. It's about celebrating what makes us all Americans, especially in times of uncertainty. At NewsNation, we're proud to bring you stories from across the country. Stories from your friends, your family, your neighbors. Respecting all sides and all perspectives. Happy 4th of July from NewsNation.
Welcome back, 12 minutes after the hour. Also making headlines this morning, our partners at Decision Desk HQ calling New York City's Democratic mayoral primary for Zohran Mamdani. Former Governor Andrew Cuomo conceded the race to Mamdani last week, but that was before either candidate earned a majority of the votes. The city released the results of its ranked choice voting rounds Tuesday, showing Mamdani defeating Cuomo by 12 percentage points. Mamdani is set to battle incumbent Mayor Eric Adams, who's running as an independent in November's election. A federal judge in Rhode Island has stopped the mass layoffs at the Department of Health and Human Services, saying Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the secretary, is likely breaking the law when he makes those sweeping cuts. In granting the preliminary injunction, the judge said that 19 states and D.C. were likely to win after they sued the Trump administration over the firings back in May. She also directed HHS to file a status report by next Friday. A spokesperson for the department says they are reviewing the decision and weighing best next steps. Pope Leo XIV's hometown in the Chicago suburbs is on the verge of buying His Holiness's childhood home. The village of Dalton, Illinois, voted Tuesday to purchase the modest 3-bedroom house. The mayor calls it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The village is working on an agreement with the home's owner on the price, though the mayor has not said how much the village is willing to pay. It would be transformed into a public historical site. And Waffle House is removing a 50-cent per egg surcharge. The chain enacted the extra fee in February after bird flu forced producers to kill millions of egg-laying chickens. In a post, the company thanked folks for understanding. On average, Waffle House sells more than 270 million eggs per year. And while egg prices are getting better, they are still up about 40% from a year ago. We love that. Well, the effort to pass President Trump's mega bill cleared its first key test in the House overnight and now moves to the House floor. This comes even as more House Republicans are going public with their protest over the Senate's changes to their big, beautiful bill. Joining us this morning is Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins to help us break this down. Good morning, Secretary.
Good morning. It is a beautiful day here at the White House. Great to be on with you.
And you all are excited about the changes.
Well, listen, this is the most conservative bill of our lifetimes. This president for a decade now has cast his vision for the country, and this bill represents such a significant portion of that. The fact that we are to this point is great news. Now, of course, there's still a couple more steps to go before this bill gets to the president's desk, but secure borders, $10,000 more on average per family in take-home pay, education choice. In my world, supporting our farmers and our ranchers and really building the safety net for the backbone of our country. It's just a remarkable piece of legislation. Congress has done a good job, and we're excited to finally get it over here to the White House, to the president's desk.
And Madam Secretary, for so long, so many people feel as though our farmers have been ignored. We have covered that extensively here at News Nation. But I do want to ask you, though, some House Republicans are reportedly seeking to derail today's vote to move this bill forward over their objections to the Senate's changes. What is it that they're missing, Madam Secretary?
Well, I think what we have to realize is that this is a once-in-a-generation chance. I mean, I have been saying for a while now, we're in a revolution, right? We're working to save America. And this is why President Trump won every swing state, why he received the popular vote, which a lot of people said that may never happen again for Republicans, just based on the two coasts. But it did happen because the people want less government in their lives. They want power returned, like the constitutional republic that we are, to the people. They want power returned. They want a secure border. They want the American dream to reach every corner of our country. But to do that, we had to make and move towards significant change, including shrinking of the government, reduction in programs and reform in significant programs like the program at USDA, which is food stamps. There's just a lot we have to do, while at the same time ensuring that we are supporting, for example, our farmers and our ranchers. So listen, we have every confidence they will work it out. No one can make deals like President Trump. He will get this across the finish line with the help of our great speaker, Mike Johnson, and so many great leaders in the House.
Across the finish line means on his desk by Friday.
That is what the president has been saying for a really long time, and I think that it looks like they're on the right path to get there.
Madam Secretary, let us in on a little news. Is Mr. Trump picking up the phone, calling some of these holdouts and letting them know that he's serious?
Well, I have no doubt that the president is working the phones about 20 hours a day because, we know he works literally around the clock. And the people, our representatives, they love him and they believe in his vision, and realizing that this is not easy. It wasn't intended to be easy. The founders set up a system of, this governance that has worked so well for 250 years. But this is literally the most important piece of legislation in our lifetimes to save America, again, to secure the borders, to return power to the people, to ensure that we have rural prosperity, again, the backbone of our country. And this president is unafraid to pick up the phone, to have the meetings, and I've seen it firsthand. So, yeah, you'll be seeing, I believe, some pretty intense work by this White House over the next few days.
Madam Secretary, President Trump, during a visit to a new migrant detention facility in Florida on Tuesday, again floating to a program to allow some migrant farmers stay in the country. Let's take a listen to this and chat about it on the other side.
We have a lot of cases where ICE will go into a farm, and these are guys working there for 10, 15 years, no problem. Great feeling for the farmer and for others in the same position. And we're going to give them responsibility for people. And we're going to have a system of signing them up so they don't have to go. They can be here legally. They can pay taxes and everything else. They're not getting citizenship.
Madam Secretary, let's jump right into that. The obvious is so many of these farmers believe they're following the process of actually hiring those who are legally allowed to work here. Possibly some migrants are not legally allowed to work here, but they are essential to the farming industry. Madam Secretary, some are pushing back on Mr. Trump's proposal to allow some of those migrants to stay and continue to work on farms. What say you?
Well, the president is the, again, vision caster of the America First movement. I don't know that there's been any change in his policy. He's always talked about the farm worker and how important they are, but he's also always talked about how we have to have a 100% legal workforce, period, full stop. Under Joe Biden, we had, no one even knows, 10 million, 15 million, 20 million illegal aliens cross the border. This is not who President Trump is speaking of. It is not this last wave of basically lawlessness and insanity under the last administration. What the president's really working to do and what he has called on Kristi Noem, Homeland Security, Lori Chavez-DeRimmer, Labor, and the rest of our administration is to ensure that our farmers have the workforce that they need, moving to a 100% legal workforce through reforms to the H-2A visa, through reforms in automation, et cetera. We will get there. But this president is who's going to take us there. And I'm just here to implement his vision with the goal of securing the border, as always, getting all the criminals, illegal aliens out, and then ensuring that our farmers have the labor force they need. One more thing I'll say to that I think is important for people to realize. The minute that we can't feed ourselves is the minute that we lose our national security. We become subject to the whims of other countries. So while I know the president is fully, his heart is with the farmers. We've seen it from day one. They've been with him at the biggest numbers than I think anybody else rural America has. And he really wants to help the ag industry. And certainly that's the world that I'm representing. But it's much, much bigger than that. We have to have a food supply that is safe, abundant, and robust, or we lose our soul as a nation and we become subject to other nations. So there's some real national security implications in this as well.
Madam Secretary, open invitation to discuss that safe, robust food industry anytime you're in Chicago. Good morning.
Thank you.
If it snuck up on you, the 4th of July is Friday. What? Right around the corner. How did that happen? So many Americans are celebrating their Independence Day by getting out of town. If you're looking to do that, be aware. Right now, I want to show you a live look at Los Angeles International Airport, one of the country's biggest travel hubs. AAA says more than 72 million Americans will travel between now and July 6th. Most will hit the roads, but TSA predicts 18.5 million flyers. But the weather could dampen those plans, whatever they may be. News Nation's Brooke Schaefer joins us now. Brooke, good morning. We're expecting storms possibly in some parts of the country, and that could have an effect on the way people take to the skies.
Absolutely, Nick. And I'll tell you what, here in Miami, I'm pretty grateful to be indoors because we just had a pretty strong stretch of rain and thunderstorms move through here. And that is something that millions of people flying across the U.S. for the 4th of July will have to contend with. Those strong thunderstorms. We're already starting to feel some of the impacts nationwide. Just last night, thunderstorms prompted ground stops at several East Coast major airports, including JFK in New York, Newark Airport, and Reagan and Dulles near Washington, D.C. Nationwide yesterday, roughly 300 canceled flights, more than 1,100 delays. We'll see what the day has in store for us today. Storms over the weekend in Atlanta forced the evacuation of an air traffic control tower over at the world's busiest airport, Hartsfield-Jackson. Of course, more significant delays and cancellations there. But on top of the weather chaos, Nick, some passengers are also facing some plane troubles as we head into this busy holiday weekend. The pilots of this plane forced to make an emergency landing yesterday at St. Louis Airport after some passengers said they smelled smoke in the cabin right after takeoff. No one was hurt. There's also this scary video from just last week. Passengers on an American Airlines flight spotted what appeared to be flames and smoke coming from one of the plane's engines. The crew of that plane able to safely make an emergency landing. Despite these videos, though, Nick, and the issues that we have reported on in recent months over at Newark Airport, people are expected to travel for the 4th of July this year in record numbers. TSA officials say they expect about 18.5 million people to go through security checkpoints at airports nationwide this 4th of July. And despite all of this chaos, the weather, the videos, the airports and the airlines say they're ready. Nick?
Brooke, I will not be among those traveling, but I am among those expecting relatives for the holiday weekend. We'll see if they get here without any hiccups. Brooke Schaefer, live for us this morning in Miami. Brooke, thank you. Close, but still not quite at the finish line. Jurors in the trial of Sean Diddy Combs reached verdicts on most of the counts. What they're struggling to figure out now as they enter another day of deliberations. Plus, after 2.5 years, the man charged with killing 4 college students in Idaho could plead guilty today. But some relatives of the victims say there's something missing from the deal. Also, Brian Koberger's former professor tells NewsNation she might have missed murder signs.
Do you have a yo-yo smile? Sometimes yellow, sometimes white. It's a constant battle between everyday stains and whitening treatments. Until now, get Smile Actives, the daily teeth whitening breakthrough that gives you a more youthful smile and helps you keep it.
At 43 years old, I don't mess around with products that waste my time. Smile Actives is easy, and it works. No gloopy trays, no messy strips. Just add a little bit on top of your toothpaste when you brush your teeth. And ta-da, white teeth.
Just add Smile Actives to your favorite toothpaste and watch the magic happen. Our patented Polyclean microfoam lifts away deep stains for a dramatically younger and whiter smile.
You have a choice. You can have those yellow teeth and just be old Nana or Pop-Pop, or you could be smiling and dazzling and full of confidence. I love my white teeth.
Scan, click, or call for your whitest smile yet. And if you order right now, we'll double your whitening free. Get an extra Smile Actives as our free gift to you, but only while supplies last.
I drink coffee every day. I started noticing that my teeth were not as bright as I like them to be, a little dingy. The Smile Active, it works. Got your boy gleaming.
100% of users saw whiter teeth. Smile Actives lifts away even the toughest stains from coffee, wine, and food, gently restoring your bright, youthful smile. Plus, it's safe for veneers, crowns, and dentures.
It's really a no-brainer if you want to whiten your teeth.
Clinically shown to brighten your teeth 5 shades whiter in just 7 days.
If you could use something so easy like Smile Actives to take yellow teeth to white teeth, why wouldn't you?
Act now. Get Smile Actives for just $24.95 and we'll double your order free. But hurry, this deal won't last. Smile Actives is guaranteed to work. Whiten your teeth or get your money back. No questions asked. Don't wait. Get Smile Actives for just $24.95 and we'll send you a second bottle absolutely free. That's free shipping. A free extra bottle. That's an incredible 58% savings. Scan the code, go to smileactives.com or call to get your beautiful whiter smile now.
The dentist will be right in.
Hey, I heard you're retiring soon. You excited?
Yeah, Doc, but there's so much to consider. Medicare, finances. Oh, and I lose my dental insurance.
You can get your own from Physicians Mutual. Easiest decision ever. It's real dental insurance that's real affordable. Well, I think my work here is done.
Wait, what?
Hey, I heard you're retiring soon. You excited?
Affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company. One of the easiest retirement decisions you can make. For a free information kit, call now. This dental insurance helps cover over 400 procedures. Everything from cleanings and fillings to crowns and dentures. See any dentist you want with no deductibles and no annual maximum.
Well, I think my work here is done.
Wait, what?
To get your free information kit with all the details, call now or visit sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Welcome back. 28 minutes after the hour, breaking overnight, a House panel moved to advance the Senate version of President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill for a vote today. Right now, you're looking live at Capitol Hill. It took Senate Republicans days of debate, delays, and last-minute wrangling to pass the package, and even then, the vice president was needed to break the tie. Nevertheless, President Trump sounding optimistic.
It's a great bill. There is something for everyone, and I think it's going to go very nicely in the House. Actually, I think it will be easier in the House than it was in the Senate.
But with little wiggle room to spare, House Republicans aren't all lined up behind the new version quite yet. Ultra-conservatives deeply upset about the Senate's changes. More than 9 months after his arrest and after 6 weeks of trial, we could finally know the fate of Sean Diddy Combs by the end of today. In just a few hours, deliberations will continue. Jurors in this federal trial say they have verdicts on 4 of the 5 counts, but the judge wants them to keep on working. NewsNation's Alicia Nieves is outside the courthouse in New York City. Alicia, good morning. Does the jury think another day of discussions will break the deadlock issue?
Yeah, that's like the million-dollar question here. It's the answer that everybody wants. The reality is, unless you're one of those 12 jurors, there's no way to answer that. You know, right now, we do know right at 9 o'clock, in just a few hours from now, those 8 men, 4 women who will decide the fate of Sean Diddy Combs, they are going to kind of pick up where they left off yesterday, and they're going to try and at least break the deadlock in what is the most serious and certainly most complicated charge of this trial. That is a racketeering and conspiracy charge. We know yesterday, of course, they deliberated for about 12 hours, and as you pointed out a moment ago, they arrived on a verdict for the charges here. 2 counts of sex trafficking and 2 counts of transportation of prostitutions, but couldn't agree on RICO, the racketeering charge. A jury note submitted to the judge said that there were jurors who were, quote, unpersuadable on both sides. That means there were jurors who think that he is guilty of RICO and they're not budging, and then those who are equally adamant that he is not guilty of RICO and racketeering. Now, instead of accepting a partial verdict, the jury was given what's known as an Allen charge. Essentially, the judge instructed them to continue weighing the charges, give it another shot to try and reach a unanimous verdict. A short time later, the court received a second note from a clearly exhausted jury saying they need a break. They were done for the day. They want to come back today and continue deliberation. So our producers who have been inside this courtroom throughout this entire trial say, you know, the atmosphere inside court during this deliberation period has really been tense, especially when that first note was delivered. They noticed a noticeably, exasperated Sean Diddy Combs, who slumped in his chair and bowed his head when it was said that, you know, the jury has at least have a verdict and they have a unanimous decision on some of the charges. The reality is, for Sean Diddy Combs, a lot at stake here, right? If he's guilty or found guilty of that RICO charge, he's facing life in prison. If he is not, obviously he gets to go free and then he has to deal with the other charges. But there's a potential here for a mistrial, meaning that if they cannot, they're a hung jury on this RICO charge, the prosecution potentially, although most unlikely, could retry him. Of course, Sean Diddy Combs, pleading not guilty, and it's very likely by the end of today we could know his fate. Nick?
Alicia, we will be watching Alicia Nieves live in New York City. Alicia, thank you so much. Let's bring in National Trial Attorney and Criminal and Civil Attorney Dante Mills. Dante, good morning. You and I have had this conversation before on other cases. In terms of Sean Combs' charges, the theme we've been hearing throughout the trial is the racketeering charge is the most complicated and clearly is difficult for the layperson to understand, and it's difficult to prove. No surprise that the jury is deadlocked on this one. What do you make of all this?
It does make sense, Nick, and good morning. Always good to have these good conversations. We're talking about these cases that are happening in real time. Here you have a jury who had to decide 2 things, essentially. Personally, was Sean Combs responsible for some criminal activity? And then, was he guilty of the RICO charge, which made it a conspiracy? It seems as if they have answers on the personal guilt of whether or not he sex trafficked and transported people for the purposes of prostitution. We don't know if that's a yes or a no yet, but we don't have an answer from the jury on whether it was a conspiracy, whether he set up Bad Boys Entertainment or hired all of these employees to further that, or if this is just something he did on his own.
And Dante, you've watched this. You're watching how this jury is struggling with this. Did the prosecution make their case?
That was the toughest part of the case, because, Nick, when we're looking at the trial and the testimony that came out, even the prosecution brought in the accountant for the company, who said, we made sure everything we did was by the books. This was not some kind of business set up for the purposes of some criminal activity or other illicit activity. This was a legitimate business. It just so happened that the person who ran this business had personal proclivities. And that's what the defense was arguing this whole time. This was just sexual preferences for Sean Combs, not a criminal enterprise. Now, does the jury believe that those sexual preferences led to criminal behavior where he said, I'm going to make you do this by force or coercion? That's really the ultimate question that we'll find out soon.
And Dante, does that then make RICO, I didn't set up this business to do this, but I've coerced you to do it. Does that fulfill the requirement?
It does not, because you do need that conspiracy. You need a bigger picture.
Gotcha.
So what the prosecution may have proved is that individually, Sean Combs threatened these women, forced them by coercion or some other kind of force to do these sexual activities, but he didn't have this enterprise setting it up. So it's really the jury deciding right now if this is a singular thing or a bigger picture thing. It's hard to be bigger picture though, because there were no other defendants there in that courtroom. There were no criminal conspiracies. There were no other criminals there that were charged with conspiracy. So you may be looking at a one-man show, and that's what may be hard for the jury to understand. How is that criminal conspiracy when it's only one person here who we're deciding guilt or innocence for?
Dante, sticking with the jury, let's talk about jury notes. Another one was sent to the judge requesting some of Cassie Ventura's testimony. Does that give away any indication to you on how the jury will decide on the sex trafficking charges, knowing that they want more information about Cassie specifically?
Not really, because notes are interesting because it tells you what the jury thinks is important. And clearly they believe that the testimony of Cassie Ventura was important. And I think we all knew that. She was kind of the star witness in this case. This process kind of began when she came out with that lawsuit and that video of her being abused came out. So it's not surprising that the jury wanted to see her actual testimony and say, there may have been a dispute in that room of, no, she said this. No, I heard her say this. You know what? Let's just get it read back. That way we're clear. That way we know exactly what she said, and we can judge her off of what she said, not what we're trying to guess and remember. And that's the benefit of having that stenographer in the room. Everything that's said is taken down. The jury can get it back verbatim.
Dante, I've got less than 30 seconds, but I have to ask you this. Had Sean Combs went on ahead and settled that suit with Cassie, would we have known any of this?
And Nick, I don't think so. And that's the interesting part or component here, because the way this was handled in the beginning, not only did he not settle the suit before the lawsuit came out, but he settled it a day later, which gave people that bravado of saying, oh, all I have to do is bring a lawsuit against Sean Combs and he'll pay me, because that's what he did with Cassie. That's what happened. Almost 10 lawsuits were generated, and then the investigators said, well, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's so many lawsuits here. Maybe let's investigate this criminally, and that led us to where we are today.
Criminal and civil rights attorney Dante Mills. Dante, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Always. Thank you, Nick.
President Trump says Israel has agreed to a framework of a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza. His warning to Hamas, pushing them to take the deal as is. Plus, could a battered and bruised Iran still wind up wielding its influence to derail an agreement?
Explore the world the Viking way. From the quiet comfort of elegant small ships with no children and no casinos. We actually have reinvented ocean voyages, designing all-inclusive experiences for the thinking person. Viking, voted world's best by both Travel + Leisure and Condé Nast Traveler. Learn more at Viking.com.
The itch and rash of moderate to severe eczema disrupts my skin. Despite treatment, it's still not under control. But now I have Rinvoq, a once-daily pill that reduces the itch and helps clear the rash of eczema fast. Some felt significant itch relief as early as 2 days, and some achieved dramatic skin clearance as early as 2 weeks. Many saw clear or almost clear skin. Plus, many had clearer skin and less itch, even at 4 years.
Rinvoq can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal. Cancers including lymphoma and skin, serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occurred. CV event risk increases in age 50+ with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events: infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant, or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Disrupt the itch and rash of eczema. Talk to your dermatologist about Rinvoq.
Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Comcast Business doesn't just power businesses. We help turn them into logistics mastering, supply chain transforming, seamlessly restocking, frictionless paying, poke bowl ordering, cyber securing, mobile access granting, data managing. Welcome to the worlding modern businesses. Powering the engine of modern business, Comcast Business.
I have type 2 diabetes, but I manage it well. It's a little pill with a big story to tell. I take once daily, Jardiance, at each day start. As Time went on, it was easy to see. I'm lowering my A1C.
And for adults with type 2 diabetes and known heart disease, Jardiance can lower the risk of cardiovascular death too.
Serious side effects include increased ketones in blood or urine, which can be fatal. Stop Jardiance and call your doctor right away if you have nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, tiredness, trouble breathing, or increased ketones. Jardiance may cause dehydration that can suddenly worsen kidney function and make you feel dizzy, lightheaded, or weak upon standing. Genital yeast infections in men and women, urinary tract infections, low blood sugar, or a rare life-threatening bacterial infection between and around the anus and genitals can occur. Call your doctor right away if you have fever or feel weak or tired and pain, tenderness, swelling, or redness in the genital area. Don't use if allergic to Jardiance. Stop use if you have a serious allergic reaction. Call your doctor if you have rash, swelling, difficulty breathing, or swallowing. You may have increased risk for lower limb loss. Call your doctor right away if you have new pain or tenderness, sores, ulcers, or infection in your legs or feet.
Jardiance is really swell, the little pill with a big story to tell.
Oh, I hate these things. That's one of the great things about Consumer Cellular. Their 100% U.S.-based customer service is also 100% human. You don't have to, oh!
For those 50 and up, get 2 unlimited lines for $30 each with Consumer Cellular.
Welcome back, 40 minutes after the hour. You're looking live at the border of Israel and Gaza this morning. We're tracking several developments out of the Middle East. First, President Trump says a deal to pause Israel's military campaign in Gaza is waiting for approval from Hamas, telling the terror group to take the deal before conditions get worse. And new overnight, Iran's president has officially ordered his country to stop cooperating with a nuclear watchdog group. NewsNation's Robert Sherman is in Tel Aviv this morning tracking these stories and more. Robert, good morning. Any signals on your end from whether or not Hamas is considering moving forward on this potential ceasefire?
Hey there, Nick. Well, similar signals that we've gotten from Hamas in the past, in which they have articulated an appetite for a ceasefire, but they also want to see the war ending outright here. So in terms of what gaps in all of this are going to be bridged between the two sides remains to be seen. The president has made clear, though, that he believes Hamas should take this deal, saying on his platform Truth Social that if they don't, then the situation would get worse for them. This is all coming, though, ahead of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's highly anticipated and potentially consequential visit to Washington, in which he's supposed to meet with President Trump. And the president has made abundantly clear he wants a deal, he wants a ceasefire, he wants the war to end, and he's prepared to be a bit tough with his ally in order to get those. Take a listen.
How firm are you going to be with Netanyahu about ending the war in Gaza?
Very firm, very firm. But he wants it too. I will say he's coming here next week. He wants to end it too. I think we'll have a deal next week. That's what I think.
The pressure on the prime minister is also going to be coming from here internally in Israel. This is a statement from the Hostage and Missing Families Forum. We expect this visit to focus on Trump's clear vision, the deal of all deals, a comprehensive deal that brings everyone home, ends the war, and opens a new era for the Middle East. The window of opportunity is open. The moment is now. So there's going to be a lot of pressure for some kind of a deal to come out of this meeting with the prime minister and the president on Monday here. It's estimated that there are 50 hostages still in Gaza, some alive, some dead. And there is growing calls on the ground here, Nick, to bring all of them home before moving forward to any of these other conversations around the region. Nick?
Robert Sherman live for us this morning in Israel. Robert, thank you. The man charged with killing 4 college students in Idaho is due back in court today. Details on the deal that could see Brian Koberger avoid the death penalty. And the chilling thought now haunting one of his former professors.
People love how the new Homes.com helps them get quick answers about any property by connecting them to the actual listing agent.
I'm getting great exposure!
Speaking of exposure, can we get him a hat?
Ooh, what about a beret?
Oh, bing dong!
Homes.com. We've done your homework.
My moderate to severe Crohn's symptoms kept me out of the picture. Now I have Sky Rizzy.
I've got places to go and I'm feeling free. Controlling my Crohn's means everything to me. Control is everything to me.
And now I'm back in the picture. Feel significant symptom relief at 4 weeks with Skyrizi, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements.
Skyrizi helped visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. And with Skyrizi, many were in remission at 12 weeks, at 1 year, and even at 3 years.
Don't use if allergic. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or UC.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease. Skyrizi is also approved for ulcerative colitis.
3 wishes, go.
TV Genie, I want to save $30 a month on TV like Dish customers.
You only get 3 wishes, not 30.
Get Dish. Save up to $30 a month and get 3 months free.
Known for building special bonds. No one wants to be known for cancer, but a treatment can be. Keytruda is known to treat cancer. FDA approved for 18 types of cancer, including certain early stage and advanced cancers. One of those cancers is a kind of uterine cancer called advanced endometrial carcinoma. Keytruda may be used with certain chemotherapies and then used alone in adults when your cancer has spread or returned.
Keytruda can cause your immune system to attack healthy parts of your body during or after treatment. This may be severe and lead to death. See your doctor right away if you have cough, shortness of breath, chest pain, diarrhea, severe stomach pain, nausea or vomiting, headache, light sensitivity, eye problems, irregular heartbeat, extreme tiredness, constipation, dizziness or fainting, changes in appetite, thirst or urine, confusion, memory problems, persistent or severe muscle pain or weakness, muscle cramps, fever, rash, itching or flushing. There may be other side effects. Tell your doctor about all medical conditions, including immune or nervous system problems, such as Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, lupus, or myasthenia gravis, or Guillain-Barré syndrome, an organ, tissue, or stem cell transplant, or receive chest radiation. Keytruda can harm your unborn baby.
Keytruda is an immunotherapy and is also being studied in hundreds of clinical trials, exploring ways to treat even more types of cancer. It's true, Keytruda. See all the types of cancer Keytruda is known for at Keytruda.com and ask your doctor if Keytruda could be right for you.
Are you ready for an electric joyride? It's just a few clicks away. Introducing electric e-bikes. Experience what it's like to feel like a kid again. And feel confident with the best-selling electric bike in the U.S. We have every type of bike for every type of rider. Ships to your doorstep for free. Little to no assembly required. Hop on to your next adventure. Only at electricebikes.com. Electric e-bikes. Affordably awesome.
Let your feet take you wherever your spirit wants to go. The one and only Hurricane helps you navigate any surface so you can go anywhere your heart desires. Designed for varied terrain, it truly stands alone. Now you can walk easier down whatever path you choose. Move forward with confidence at hurricane.com. Also available at these fine retailers.
Welcome back, 47 minutes after the hour. This afternoon, Bryan Kohberger is expected to plead guilty to killing 4 college students. In 2022, the 30-year-old allegedly broke into the home of 4 University of Idaho students and stabbed them while they slept. In taking a plea deal, it will spare him from the death penalty. NewsNation's Alex Capriello is live on the University of Idaho campus. Alex, what comes next if, in fact, Kohberger does indeed plead guilty?
Yeah, good morning to you, Nick. This is indeed a very big day. In just about 5 hours, that accused quadruple murderer Bryan Kohberger will appear in that courtroom in Boise, Idaho, potentially pleading guilty to the crimes that he's been accused of committing for the last 2.5 years. Obviously, I don't have to tell you this would drastically change the course of a criminal case that has gripped the nation and really had an impact on Moscow and the people here at the University of Idaho. Let's remind the folks at home the framework for this potential plea agreement. Kohberger would plead guilty to 4 counts of murder and burglary. He would spend the rest of his life in prison, and he would not have the ability to appeal it in the future. In exchange, however, he would not be sentenced to death. Notably, not a part of this plea deal is a confession. Some of the victims' families say this is a crucial missing element, preventing them from fully accepting this outcome. The judge could demand answers from Kohberger, like what the motive might have been, but we'll have to see exactly how this hearing goes. Since it appears that this trial may not happen, previously gagged witnesses are now coming forward, including Kohberger's former professor, a forensics expert who had spent her life teaching law and order. She tells NewsNation she now wonders if Kohberger used his time studying serial killers to build up knowledge for future crimes.
I think just the idea of wanting to study offenders and what their thought process was, how they felt about their crimes, wanting to study that and then finding out that this is a person who then is now saying he's guilty of doing these things. I have to look at the framework of what I taught and wonder, did I inspire him in some way?
While all indications point to Kohberger changing that plea to guilty, it's not official until he says it in a court of law. Nick.
Alex Capriello with the latest. Alex, thank you so much. President Trump and Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell squaring off again. How Powell is hitting back after being blamed for a delay in interest rate cuts.
Memory and thinking issues keep piling up? It may seem like normal aging, but could be due to a buildup of amyloid plaques in the brain. The sooner you talk to your doctor, the more options you may have. Learn more at amyloid.com.
When a migraine strikes and I've taken a triptan, side effects like dizziness can throw me off. Migraine again. UBrelvy works differently. It keeps me in rhythm, quickly stopping migraine pain within 2 hours. And some have pain relief that lasts all day, so I can handle whatever the day may throw at me. Don't take if allergic or with strong CYP3A4 inhibitors. Tell your doctor all medicines you take. Report increased blood pressure or color changes, pain, or numbness in fingers or toes. Get help right away for allergic reactions like trouble breathing, face, mouth, tongue, or throat swelling, which may occur days after use. Ask your doctor how you can stop migraine attacks and stay in rhythm with UBrelvy.
I decided to try it, and I lost 20 pounds with Lipozene.
I lost 35 pounds in 10 weeks using Lipozene.
I lost 7 inches off of my waist, and I lost 2 dress sizes, and I feel amazing.
For the past 20 years, Lipozene has been an agent of change in weight management, helping millions achieve their weight loss goals.
With Lipozene, I lost 29 pounds, and I feel fabulous.
Lipozene helped me take out all that body fat, and I feel amazing.
Feels great to have a six-pack. I didn't think I would have it at my age.
Lipozene and I make a strong weight management team.
With Lipozene, I lost over 23 pounds. I went from this to this with Lipozene.
I've lost 112 pounds with America's #1 diet supplement, Lipozene.
Lipozene is worth the price because Lipozene has been shown to work time and time again.
Text TV33 to 36094 or go online now to lipozene.com and start your weight loss journey. Text TV33 to 36094 or go to lipozene.com.
GoodRx helps my family get the medications we need at an affordable price.
I did have insurance, but unfortunately they didn't cover the medications that my doctor prescribed.
My mom introduced me to GoodRx, and I've been using it ever since. All I do is put in what I'm searching for, and it shows each location and each price.
The first time I used GoodRx, I saved over $700.
I literally tell everyone I know to check GoodRx.
The following is based on reality. You may be offended.
Please help me.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. With Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast.
This is Life Alert. I'm calling for help right now.
With any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately. And batteries never need charging. Life Alert saves a life from a catastrophe every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-559-8882. That's 1-800-559-8882. Call now, 1-800-559-8882.
Welcome back, 53 minutes after the hour. After mounting pressure and public insults from the president, embattled Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is hitting back. He says President Trump's tariffs are why the Fed isn't lowering interest rates. Mr. Powell speaking out this week after the president wrote him a note accusing him of costing the USA, quote, a fortune.
In effect, we went on hold when we saw the size of the tariffs and essentially all inflation forecasts for the United States went up materially as a consequence of the tariffs. So we didn't overreact. In fact, we didn't react at all. We're simply taking some time.
Let's bring in Mario Veneroso, partner of Kingsview Asset Management. Mario, good morning. I want to ask you this. Am I even framing this fairly? Is Mr. Powell punching back or simply saying, hey, we're doing the same thing we've always done?
You know, it feels like he's punching back right now, because if you look at the Fed and you look at Jerome Powell, they have a dual mandate. And last time I checked, it wasn't a triple mandate. The mandate's very simple: price stability and then maximum unemployment. So right now, what Powell is doing with this feud with Trump, he is emphasizing a forecast over actual facts, Nick. And let's look at the facts. The facts are very simple. Inflation is coming down. So this boogeyman of tariffs and the world's going to end and we're going to have high inflation. If you look at the last 3 months of inflation, which are the facts, and you look at PCE, which is the Fed's preferred gauge, and you look at CPI, inflation is coming down. So for me personally, I think powerless Powell is throwing a punch at Trump, and I think it's because of political reasons, and I don't think it's because of monetary reasons. And if you look at other facts as well, the rest of the world is cutting, Nick. ECB, they cut over 9 times. So the fact remains this, very simple. Overall, we have a decent economy, but our rates are high. And to be competitive with the rest of the world, and we're a net importer, so we're killing U.S. manufacturing, because if we have high interest rates and you're a manufacturer in the U.S., you have to now compete with a higher dollar, and you got to compete with being competitive around the world. It's not a smart move. The better move would be to stimulate the economy, because when we have lower interest rates, what happens? Let's look at big ticket items for everyday Americans, and Trump understands this. Number one, your mortgage rate. Is it more affordable having a mortgage at 7 or 8% or at 4 to 5%? Obviously, I'm being facetious here, but the math is simple. If you look at auto loans, so by having lower interest rates, it will help stimulate the economy. And I think Fed Chair Powell is out of line by basically emphasizing a forecast. He's not a fortune teller. He's not Nostradamus. His job is to look at the facts, and the facts remain: inflation is headed lower. We should be cutting rates.
And you talked about interest rates, particularly around those big ticket items like home purchases. We see that the housing market is almost stalled because people are afraid to do anything right now. So there's definitely some levity needed. Let me ask you this, though. We're also talking about jobs when we look at these numbers and interest rates and how things are affected. The June jobs report comes out tomorrow. What are we expecting to see, and how might it sway the Fed chair in terms of maybe possibly cutting rates?
That's a great question. So basically, bad news is good news at this point. You know, we have to have a Goldilocks economy, because Powell is just being so pretentious over here. So we actually have to have weaker jobs number for the Fed to be more apt to cut. So right now, tomorrow, they think they're going to come in around 110, 115. If we get a lighter number than that, and also too, Nick, this is a key metric. Tomorrow jobs number, unemployment is actually expected to tick up from 4.2% to 4.3. So if I'm Powell right now, it's like, hey, the best way to solve a problem is prevent one. Do we want to wait until our economy is in the tank and our jobs and our economy is going down south? Or do we want to be proactive? And unfortunately, the best indicator of future behavior is past behavior. And if you look at Powell, he was late to the game in raising rates. He's been late to the game in cutting rates. It's been almost a year since the first cut in September. So to me personally, I think with the jobs number tomorrow, in order for the Fed to be more likely to cut in July. And if you look at the futures market too, Nick, it's very simple. The futures predict in September they're going to cut. But if we have a really weak number tomorrow, I think the Fed will be forced to move their hand and cut in July.
Note to self: Mario Veneroso, future Fed chair nominee. Mario, thank you so much for joining me.
Good job, man. I don't want it. I just want to do well for my clients and keep our eye on the ball, bud.
I hear you. Uneasy lies the head of he who wears the crown. Mario, thank you so much, sir. Yep. On this date, President Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act, plus the movie Men in Black premiere in theaters. Today is July 2nd. In 1956, Elvis Presley recorded his hit song Hound Dog in New York City. President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And the United States first issued the Susan B. Anthony dollar coin, making Anthony the first woman to be depicted on U.S. currency. You know her from films like The Parent Trap, Mean Girls, and Freaky Friday. Actress and singer Lindsay Lohan was born. A very happy 39th birthday.
We are the men in black.
You know what the difference is between you and me? I make this look good.
Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones wowed audiences when Men in Black premiered in theaters. Men in Black grossed more than $589 million worldwide in 1997, making it the third highest grossing movie of that year. Hey, we're right here at the top of the hour. This is what we do. It's Morning in America. News for all Americans begins right now.